Yes, good morning, man. Good morning. Early start to the day. Early bird catches the worm, as they say, man. Hope everyone is blessed. You know the vibes, man. Make sure you smash that like, share, and subscribe. Obviously, we're here for the UCL. I'm supposed to actually put two there, but it's here for the UCL match week 2 roundup, not one. So I do apologize for that. But yes, we're here for that roundup. Was an interesting few games during the week. But I think it was both on Tuesday and on Wednesday. I remember last week we had it on Thursday as well, which I found quite weird. But either way, we're here now. We're here now. Obviously, you guys can see some of the fixtures there. So we had PSG versus Barca, Liverpool, Galatasaray, Chelsea versus Benfica, Jose Mourinho, obviously coming back. Arsenal had Olympiacos. I'm trying to see if there was any other Man City versus Monaco. We remember Mbappe, old school. Napoli had Sporting, Villarreal versus Juventus. Yeah. There was a couple decent fixtures. Within that. One thing, one thing I've started to notice though about this whole like Champions League and stuff is that I'm looking at the lineups. I'm looking at certain teams like obviously we spoke, we saw the Barcelona versus PSG game, and obviously they had injuries on both sides, right? But I was just looking at the game, I was thinking, right, it's weird, isn't it? Because usually, everyone's making sure that they're available for these kind of games. Everyone is making sure, like, yo, I'm here, I'm ready, all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, it didn't feel like that across a lot of the games. I'll be honest. A lot of the games I'm looking at like lineups now. Again, injuries, and I get it, World Cup year, and we've just had the Club World Cup, and quite a lot of the teams who are obviously in the Champions League were obviously playing in that competition. So I was like, okay, fairs, but on the flip side of it, I am a little bit surprised, just a little bit, because yeah, it's just the way that everyone's taking it. I think after and obviously last year was the first time we'd ever done this kind of group league phase, right? So maybe there was obviously people still trying to get to grips and understand basically how this works and how this competition, may help you in the future, and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, we saw with Liverpool, obviously they lost out to PSG, who are obviously the eventual winners of this competition. So maybe they're looking at it also themselves and thinking, I mean, they had Mo Salah on the bench against Galatasaray. Do you get what I mean? So that would never have happened before. Game week 2, no way. I don't care who you're playing. Mo Salah would definitely play. And also other teams and stuff like that. Obviously, like I said, the Barcelona PSG, but other games that I saw, it just wasn't it just didn't have that same feel. And I feel like everybody's now just realized, you know what, it doesn't even matter at this point. It really doesn't. Like, it doesn't matter whether or not we play our strongest team, whether we win now or not. I think it's more about, I think you're looking at top 8, anywhere in that top 8, you're kind of good. So you don't need to finish first, you don't need to finish second, third, or whatever, as long as you finish in that top 8. And even down to the, where you can go through to like the next round, which is the knockout phase. Yeah, instead of going automatically through like Liverpool were last season, you can kind of go through to that, right? I feel like even some teams are looking at thinking, yeah, if we finish there, it's all right. It's just a extra game here, kind of thing. So I don't think like anybody's really looking at this competition so far at this moment in time where they're taking it too seriously. For me, a lot of these teams are using this as like a rotation kind of thing. And listen, like I said, it was just quite interesting. It was just quite interesting, but listen, it is what it is. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Let's start off with let's start off with this. Let's start off with this. Of course, PSG versus Barcelona. Not happy with Barcelona's performance, I'll be honest. PSG obviously getting the late victory. Ramos getting the goal. Yeah, I wasn't too happy. I wasn't too happy with that performance from Barcelona, man. I felt like good in parts, but overall, nah, I wasn't really feeling it. I'll be honest, man. I wasn't really feeling it. I think could have done a lot better within the game. I felt like, I don't know, it felt like we were just missing something. I don't know. Like I said, it was like a spark or something along those kind of lines. I just felt like it just wasn't really clicking. And like I mentioned before, if you did watch the game, you could see that even PSG didn't have their strongest team out either. So it's not like, do you know what I mean, that they were sitting in that position of they had their strongest team and, we were, trying to, no, they didn't have their strongest team out either. Do you know what I mean? And we had a relatively strong team out. So I don't really understand why the performance was what it was, kind of thing, if I'm being honest. But listen, it is what it is. Can't really complain too tough. I think PSG, maybe they won the second, like they were better in the second half. Barcelona were better in the first half, but PSG just seemed like they were, I don't know. It just seemed like they were the threatening side. I'll be honest with you, more the threatening side. Other than like the opening like 15 minutes where Lamine Yamal obviously got past Nuno Mendes. After that, he didn't really do nothing. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't really doing too much. I'll be honest with you. It's very quiet for the rest of the game. And it's funny because you go on social media, right? And you see all the people and they will be like, oh, they're cooking Nuno Mendes and oh my God, look, Lamine. I'm like, first of all, it's Lamine Yamal. Secondly, Nuno Mendes is probably the best fullback in the world. It may be debatable with Hakimi. So I'm like, bro, these things can just happen. Honestly, these things can just easily happen. I don't think it's one of those where you need to read too deep into it. You're talking about Lamine Yamal. Like, he's going to get past more or less everybody at some stage, at some point in the game, right? Whether it's once, whether it's 10 times, whatever. But listen, Nuno Mendes recovered from that. And I felt like, yeah, he had a good to calm game. Hakimi obviously captain in the side there as well. Yeah, I felt like PSG probably warranted the victory, man. So I can't really be too angry with that, to be honest with you. But listen, it is what it is. Galatasaray obviously defeating Liverpool. Osimhen penalty. I know there's a lot of debate whether it was a penalty, wasn't it a penalty? Listen, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of those. They got the penalty anyway. Liverpool, we've spoken about this over the last couple of days anyway, but yeah, Liverpool not really at their best. Good in moments, again. Do you know what I mean? Just kind of typical at this moment in time when it comes to Liverpool. Good in parts. Had a couple of chances or a couple of moments within the game where I felt, oh, maybe we should be doing what we should be doing better there. I remember Ekitike trying to roll the keeper instead of just, putting the ball in the back of the net. That's the difference. Haaland isn't doing any of that. Kane is not doing any of that. Do you get what I'm saying? These strikers, they're not doing none of that stuff. No one's trying to take on round the keeper like say you're R9. No. Put the ball in the back of the net. That's all he had to do was put the ball in the back of the net, and unfortunately, he weren't able to. But so were various other players on the pitch as well. Another defeat for Liverpool, second in a row, obviously first in this competition. But again, like I mentioned before about, I think even Arne Slot speaking about like the rotation within the Champions League. I think there was a few stories that were coming out before the Champions League even kicked off that he will be rotating the side a little bit, you know what I mean, through this competition. And yeah, I think everyone's just, like I said, everyone's just realized now that don't really need to play your strongest team. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not that deep. You can still go far, as we saw with PSG, who finished in 20 whatever last season and ended up winning the Champions League. So yeah, it's just one of those, man. But yeah, on the face of it, maybe I think Liverpool, I guess maybe you could say, could have got a draw out of the game. But unfortunately, do you know what I mean? Like, when your luck is not there, your luck is not there. And Liverpool are not lucky at this moment in time. Next up, Bayern Munich versus Paphos, 5-1, man. Harry Kane again, man. This guy, honestly, if you haven't checked my video and listen, I implore you to go and check it out. Speaking about Harry Kane, but we know what he's on. We know what he's about. He's having one of the best starts to a season that you can possibly have. I'm gonna even check how many goals this guy's got, because I feel like every single week he is scoring goals. Scored 2 again against Paphos. Obviously, Nico Jackson, Elise Guerrero obviously scored as well. But if I'm just looking at, let me even look, Harry Kane, right? What's he on? He even played in the number 10, by the way, people, behind Nico Jackson, which I found weird because I thought they would play as a 2, but it was more Kane was dropping into pockets. Kane was basically doing what he normally does, if I'm being honest. He just now had a striker ahead of him. I think that was more the way it was, to be honest with you. So far in the Bundesliga, he's played 5 matches. He's got 10 goals in the Bundesliga. You know what I'm saying? This guy's on serious smoke. Champions League, he's got 4 goals in 2 games. Yeah, he's on something different. That's 14 goals across just 2 competitions. Do you get what I mean? So yeah, he's really on fire. Elise, of course, Elise is Elise. Nico Jackson, obviously getting himself on the score sheet there as well. Big up to him. Obviously, I know with the whole Chelsea move and stuff like that. But now, big up to him. Big up to him every single time. It's just good to see some of these players out on loan actually playing. No point going on loan and you ain't playing. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, he's a striker, so he's trying to, get himself on the score sheet if he possibly can. But listen, it's all about Harry Kane. As I said before, he's having an absolutely phenomenal start to the season. Whether or not he can make, you know, I think for players like him, Elise, they're ballers in their own right. They're some of the best players in the world, if not Harry Kane being one of, if not the best striker in the world, right? I feel like for them to be seen in terms of like Ballon, they have to win the Champions League. That's the only way. Win the Champions League, and I think Harry Kane finishes top 3 for Ballon d'Or easily. I can't see how he doesn't, because he will be the one scoring the goals anyway. Do you know what I mean? And he will score about 40 again. Lord knows what he ends up with come the end of this season. After the 3 seasons being at Bayern, how many goals did you think he's going to have? I think he's going to have a ridiculous amount. A ridiculous amount. So, listen, big up to Harry. Real Madrid, 5-0. This one, pretty simple, to be honest with you. Kylian Mbappe show, to be honest. Again, he's another striker. This is what I'm saying. Elite strikers, they do elite things, man. They do elite things. This is why you can't ever doubt Mbappe, Harry Kane, Erling Haaland. 3 of the best strikers. Top 3 strikers in world football. You can't, like, these guys they just score so many goals, man. They're so on job. They're so on point with what they do. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have to big them up, because it's ridiculous the kind of consistency that they're all able to keep for such a long time. Like, we're talking about Harry Kane. Obviously, he's been around since been around. Do you get what I mean? Mbappe, how long has he been around? I spoke before about Man City versus Monaco, and obviously we'll get onto that game in a bit. He was there. You know what I mean? Alongside the Falcaos, and come on, man, like, it's crazy. This consistency from these players is absolutely ridiculous. In this game, anyway, it was a routine victory for Real Madrid. To be honest, they were never in any kind of bother, any kind of worry. Yeah, they kind of just mosey along, get themselves the 3 points. And Mbappe, as I said before, staying consistent, staying on that score sheet. If again, he's another one. If just like Harry Kane, if they can go out there, win the Champions League, I think again, you're looking at these guys potentially winning, you know, the Ballon d'Or for next season, because I just think they're going to be so vital to what their teams are doing that it's just kind of inevitable, you know what I mean, at this point. Marseille, man, big up to Jerry, because we've been speaking about Marseille recently anyway. Obviously, Roberto De Zerbi, one of my favorite managers out there. His football, absolutely love it. And in this game, yeah, he kind of just put Ajax to the sword, if I'm being honest with you. It was like, how can I put it? Like quick precision. Do you know what I mean? It was like surgical in the way that they defeated Ajax, from what I saw anyway. Yeah, it was just a good performance, good football, as always, with Marseille, to be honest with you. They are quite direct in terms of how they move the ball and how they want to obviously get back to front. But within that, they have the passage. It's almost now anyway. It almost looks like what Hansi Flick does with Barcelona, which is you still got tiki-taka. Obviously, no one does tiki-taka like Barca, but you still got tiki-taka football. But I'm implementing, you know, the kind of pressing, the kind of gegen pressing, and all that kind of style of football. He's kind of implemented both of those styles together with Marseille, and they're a really good team. They've got young players, they've got really good players on their team as well. And I think the way that they're kind of pushing, listen, they're one of them teams that you may over 2 legs as well. One game, I can say, yeah, maybe you might be able to just defeat them over 1 game, right? It's just one of them. Over 2 games, Marseille are going to be tricky opposition, I think, anyway, this Champions League campaign. I think they're going to, I won't call them dark horses. I don't look at them like that, but I definitely look at them and think, you may cause some issues. You may cause some issues. Atletico Madrid, again, another striker in Julian Alvarez, getting himself on the score sheet. Another very good striker. Griezmann obviously getting himself a goal. Raspadori getting a goal. Who else is there? Simeone and Lenormand. Listen, didn't Frankfurt defeat Galatasaray, was it? I'm sure they beat Galatasaray 5-0 or something like that. Unfortunately, they're on the receiving end of that now. 5-1 against Atletico Madrid. Morning to you, Mustafa. De Zerbi doing bits with Aubameyang, Greenwood, and Witt. Yeah, 100%. 100%, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're a really good team. They are a really, really good team. Morning, Akeem. They're a really, really good team. But yeah, Atletico Madrid. Yeah, listen, again, another routine victory for them. Wasn't really much to really go on there. I think, again, Atletico Madrid, obviously, they had like a bit of a staggering start to the season. So maybe now, obviously, they're going to start getting a little bit into their stride. Within that, obviously, beat Real Madrid the other day. What was it, 5-2 or 5-1 or whatever it was. Obviously, now coming into this game, another 5 goals. So yeah, they're heading in the right direction. And it's so funny because, you know, when people talk about Simeone, obviously the first thing we think of is like, oh yeah, they're just a defensive team. It's a bit like Mourinho old school with Chelsea. I feel like there's one, it's one of those where there's like, it's like a myth. I'm like, yeah, they're defensive. I just feel like it's not even that they are just defensive. They're a team that once they lock in to whatever the tactics are for the day, or for, the structure is for the day, they're one of the most structured teams. Maybe that's what we got to start replacing it with, not just, oh, they're very defensive. Because even Jose Mourinho, that myth about, oh yeah, he was just this defensive coach, didn't he score like the most goals in the season where they conceded only 15 goals or something like that, if not second? That doesn't show me a guy who's just, you know what I mean, who's just defensive. Do you know what I mean? It's just when they lock into a structure and they're so disciplined at what they're doing, it's very difficult to beat these kind of teams. And I feel like Atletico Madrid is kind of in that mode, because I've seen them slap teams, and it shouldn't be a surprise because they've got some really good players on their team. So I shouldn't be looking at thinking, how did they score 5? They should only be scoring like 2 or 3 at most. I don't really think it's really like that. Don't really think it's really like that. Simeone just couldn't get the best out of Joao Felix, but he's got Griezmann, Alvarez, Morata. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, Simeone is one of the best coaches in the world. Like, let's not kid ourselves here. He's one of the best. Monaco, man. Monaco. Eric Dyer, late penalty against Manchester City. Happy with that. Happy with that. Happy to see City drop points in something. Do you get what I'm saying? Erling Haaland, again, like I mentioned before, Harry Kane, Mbappe, Erling Haaland. Guess what? These guys, they score goals. They score goals at a ridiculous rate. He obviously got himself 2 on the night. And as I mentioned before, obviously Monaco coming back with that late penalty. Do I think I listened, like I watched a bit of the game, yeah, and I was listening to Bernardo Silva after the game, and obviously just talking about, you know, just in terms of just in terms of how the game went and stuff like that. And I was just thinking to myself, yeah, I feel like obviously this is not the City that we know. Like, this ain't that. They're not that type of team. They're not the type of they're not the fully functioned Manchester City that we know. Whether they get back to that, I don't know at this stage. Like right now, I'd need to see. Maybe just wait until like January, and then I'll probably get a better picture. But at this moment, I'm just looking at them thinking, got to give a little bit more. But it's difficult because we're talking about one of the best teams the Premier League has ever seen, like ever in the history of the Premier League. Do you get what I'm saying? Since '92, the Manchester City are one of the best teams, probably second best after Manchester United, just purely on the dominance itself. But in terms of personnel, I'll probably say they are the best team I've ever seen. So to get to those levels again, I think, you know what I mean, Pep's got a bit of work to do. Because, you know, games like this, right? When I saw that Eric Dyer scored the penalty, they have too many of these games. Like, over the last couple of seasons now, or would I say 18 months, if I'm being honest, they're having too many of these type of games where it's like, I expect you to go away to Monaco and win. Now, I'm not saying you're going to win every single game. Obviously, at one point, it felt like you was. But just, if we're being realistic, I don't expect any team to be able to do that, right? Even prime Barcelona did not win every single game. My issue is that in these kind of games, right, you're showing the kind of same level of performances that you're showing in the other games. So it's just becoming like a theme. Like, now people are not surprised. Oh, Man City drew. Okay, yeah, that seems about right. It wasn't like that before. In these kind of games, bro, Man City are killing them. They're killing these type of teams, man. Like, let's be real. They've been doing that over the last 5 to 10 years, but they're not really doing that anymore. And I feel like, yeah, maybe their air of invincibility, I feel like it's just gone now. I feel like it's gone. People ain't shook of you no more. You're not that type of team. You know what I mean? Like I said, Pep Guardiola is still the best manager in the world, but right now, yeah, it's just looking a bit tricky. And it just seems that other teams are just starting to like not lap you. They're overtaking you in terms of how good, you know, they are. So disappointing result, if I'm being honest, for Manchester City. Perfect, obviously, for Monaco, who I think lost their first game anyway. So yeah, they're definitely going to look at this and, you know, definitely think, yeah, you know what, as long as if we can get points against the Manchester City, at least then you start looking at the other games, because you ain't got to play these teams twice. So you start looking at other games now to pick up 3 points, knowing that you've got a point against a Manchester City. Yeah, man, you're kind of good to go. City over reliant on Haaland. Who else can score for them? Need Foden, Savio, Cherky. Cherky's obviously injured, but yeah, I get the premise of what you mean, 100%. But it's difficult. It is really difficult. Like, I feel like they need to be in like a Bayern situation. Bayern have got Luis Diaz now. They've got Elise. They've got Gnabry, who comes off the bench. Jamal Musiala, when he comes back from injury. Obviously, Harry Kane is the main source of goals, but Elise and the rest of them will all eat. They all score goals. They all score quite a few goals. I'm sure Elise got 20 goals. Could be wrong. Might be just under. Do you get what I'm saying? I feel like Luis Diaz will probably touch 20 this season just because of the amount of games and, you know, stuff like that. Gnabry, who is coming off the bench and stuff, he's still scoring. He probably, you know, hitting like the close or if not double figures. Don't know off the top of my head. Jamal Musiala easily double figures when he's back from injury. Do you get what I'm saying? Manchester City just don't really have that at the moment. That's one thing I feel like, again, you're right, Mustafa, that they definitely need to just kind of fix up. How Pep does it, I don't know, but you need more from the Dokus, as you say, the Savios and stuff like that. I knew City would struggle. They notoriously struggle against French teams. Yeah, they do. They actually do, which is weird. So weird. I don't know why. I don't know if, yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. That'll be something to actually look into, to be honest with you. I can see Brentford getting a result in the weekend. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, and that's not good to say about Manchester City. That's not what we're used to. I'm used to Brentford. Yeah, it'll be a difficult game, like in terms of they are a difficult team, but they'll probably come out like 3-0 winners. You know what I mean? Like it will be one of those. Like, and I'm not really now. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe Brentford could nick a point or potentially win. Who knows? Do you get what I'm saying? Who knows? On to Newcastle. USG versus Newcastle. Newcastle, absolutely brilliant victory. 4-0 away. Anthony Gordon with 2 penalties on the night. What's up with his hairstyle? Is this what he's looking like now? This is what he's trying to, this is the vibe, this is the energy he's trying to come with. I see. Voltemade obviously getting on a score sheet as well, and Harvey Barnes. Really good performance from Newcastle, if I'm being honest. Although USG were having chances. They did that. That was the early kickoff. Yeah, I was watching. I was thinking, USG are having chances. Do you know what I mean? They were having chances, but overall, Newcastle thoroughly deserved the victory. They were good in the game. Gordon, outside of the penalties, was okay. He was all right. Elanga was the one. He was causing USG's backline problems. He was causing, like, he was affecting play. Trust me. Skills, like he looked different. He even played different. I was like, this ain't the Elanga that I know. Like usually I don't see you step overs here and you know what I mean. Just quick movement. I didn't really see that from him. So to see that in this game against USG, I thought, yeah. Do you know what? They needed this victory anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's always like it's Champions League. This is the group phase, man. You ain't trying to get relegated. You ain't trying to be one of the eliminated teams. So you're trying to pick up points wherever you can. So to get this kind of emphatic victory, you know, get Newcastle back, obviously, after the defeat to Arsenal, late defeat as well. Do you know what I mean? To kind of get back to winning ways. It's good for them. It's good for them. It's good for them. So big up to Newcastle. Arsenal. Another boring game. 2-0 though. Martinelli and Saka getting on the score sheet. Boring game, like I said. Yeah. Arsenal are going to be one of them teams. I don't feel like they play good football, but they have a style of play that works for the players that they've got. It clearly works for, you know, what Mikel Arteta is trying to do, which is almost just stifle the life out of games and then obviously go from there because they're so solid defensively. You do sit there and think, is anybody going to be able to score a goal? Is anybody going to be able to, you know what I mean, get past them? Like they rarely give up opportunities. And obviously, listen, if you can have a solid base in defense, then it just makes it 10 times easier. 10 times easier. Just give me 2 seconds, people. Let me close this quick. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, Arsenal with their depth, they are dark horse. Oh, 100%. Yeah. And I have them as one of the favorites, not even dark horse. I don't think I look at Arsenal and think, oh yeah, you're a dark horse, you know, in this kind of competition, to be honest with you. I think they are one of the stronger teams. Again, 2-0 victory. Olympiacos got some decent players, by the way, in their team. But yeah, just couldn't really get it together. And like I say, they had a couple opportunities or a couple moments where I thought maybe they could do something. But yeah, all in all, yeah, I don't feel like it was ever in doubt, the kind of victory for Arsenal. Spurs 2-2. Spurs 2-2 against, was it Bodo Glimt? Disappointing for Spurs, I'll be honest with you. These are the kind of games that you do look at and you think to yourself, yep, I do need to try and get the 3 points here, if I'm being totally honest with you. Obviously, they got the late goal. Obviously, they pegged it back, fair enough. And obviously, in context of the game, yeah, you look at it that way. But in general, yeah, I feel like this was a game where Spurs probably looked at it prior to the game and said, if we can pick up another 3 points, then we're kind of good to go. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Bodo missed penalty. Should have been 3-2. Hold on 1 second, people. Sorry, the guy outside is freaking mowing all the lawns and that, making up a whole heap of noise. Yeah, how good's cooking? Yeah. Bodo, I mean, listen, they played all right though. They played all right. Like they were giving Tottenham some problems in the game. I'll be honest, they were really giving Tottenham some problems. So I don't know. It did look like for a minute that Tottenham would eventually lose this game. Obviously, going two up like that, I thought, oh, if they get one more goal, or even if Tottenham take too long to score their first goal, I don't know if they're going to have enough to be able to come back in the game. But like I said, big up to Spurs, obviously, for coming back in the game. But ultimately, yeah, wasn't really, in my opinion. Context, you'll say yes, a good point, but overall, I think they'll be disappointed that they weren't able to pick up the 3 points. In my personal opinion, I think this is a game that you should be going out there. You should be winning. You want to go far in the Champions League, you need to be winning games like this. You really do. Chelsea versus Benfica. Jose Mourinho returns to Chelsea with his Benfica side. Another boring game. I'll be honest with you, it was really boring. Not really much going on. Obviously, Chelsea getting the victory in the end. Yeah, it was boring. It was boring as hell. It was boring as hell. I didn't really look at that, and it was an own goal anyway. I remember it was the ball. Can't remember who played the ball over the top into Garnacho. He obviously slides in, and then the own goal from Rios. Yeah, I thought it was all right. It was all right. It was all right. He still looks like he's still trying to almost find it. It's a bit difficult because Chelsea, I mean, they've got 101 players. So it's always going to be quite difficult to be able to kind of cement and stamp your authority within a team that's really Cole Palmer's team. Do you get what I'm saying? He is the boss of that team. So yeah, it's always going to be quite difficult for these attacking players. But listen, he's a decent. I mean, they got decent players in attack. I don't think the attack is that good. I feel like it is. I would rank it relatively low if I'm just basing it on the players that they've got. I don't think the players are that good in attack. But listen, it is what it is. Up against Jose Mourinho's team, he obviously tried to come with that. Not even, I wouldn't even say necessarily defensive approach because they got that striker. What's his name, man? What's that striker? I can't remember. I just remember watching him and thinking, oh, this is the guy that they keep talking about. I can't remember what his name is, man. But anyways, the striker that obviously Benfica had, I thought he would maybe cause a few more problems for Chelsea. Almost did, to be fair, in the game. But yeah, overall, listen, look, good victory for Chelsea. Obviously, that's it, Pavlidis. That's it. Thank you, Mustafa. It's Pavlidis. Obviously, Chelsea coming off the back of that defeat to Bayern Munich in that first game, where they kind of got terrorized in that game. They just needed to get the 3 points on the board. It's so important to get these 3 points as early as humanly possible. So to get that against Jose Mourinho's Chelsea, Jose Mourinho's Benfica, should I say? Sorry, really good, man, really good. And I think they just move on to the weekend. They obviously they've not had great results recently as well. Been playing really poorly. You can tell they really miss Cole Palmer. I'm watching them play, and I'm like, yeah, you don't have. It's Cole Palmer at the end of the day, so you're going to miss that player regardless. Any team would miss that type of player. But you can see they don't really have anything else going on in the attacking sense without Cole Palmer. Someone to really create, someone who's a bit inventive in that final third. They're lacking that, severely. So yeah, it's going to be something that, Maresca and the Chelsea team are going to need to, try and sort out. And yeah, obviously got Liverpool next. Do you know what I mean? So 2 off-form teams, what does that usually mean? Probably a draw incoming. Inter Milan, man. Inter Milan 3-0 victory. La Toro. The goals are pretty. I think one of them was the keeper made a mistake, tried to roll the ball out or something like that. I think he tried to roll the ball out, and then obviously Martinez comes in to score. But yeah, listen, this is one of them games where this was just a routine victory against Slavia Prague. Nothing too special. They just needed to get the 3 points on the board anyway, and then kind of move forward. Can Inter Milan have another campaign like they did last season? Barely conceded any goals, got to the final of the Champions League. Obviously, they got terrorized in that final, but they got to the final, and they were the best defensive team, I think maybe even potentially alongside Arsenal. But those two are the two kind of best defensive teams within the tournament. I feel like they're going to try and Do you know what I mean? They're just going to try and continue with that, to be honest with you. Inter under Chivu just carrying on from, yeah, it does seem like that. It does seem like that a little bit. But listen, it's difficult because obviously Inzaghi, he didn't win the league or nothing, or they didn't win the league last season. But he, like, other than the final, right? If they didn't get slapped in the final, I didn't look at him last season and think, like, I don't feel like Chivu was the one that you should be getting. Like, I didn't really get that. I didn't really get that. Obviously, I don't know the ins and outs as to why he left and if there was a reason, kind of thing. Maybe he just wanted to go to Saudi. I don't know. I really don't know. But when I look at it, I'm like, well, you're probably just better off just keeping Inzaghi. Like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't feel like there's anything really different with Inter. Again, I don't watch them week in, week out. Someone else might be better placed to be able to tell you. But yeah, for me, I don't look at them and think, yeah, you know what? They're playing this new style of football and they look so different with the players they've got. Like, they kind of look the same. They really do look the same. And I don't know how much better is Chivu going to be, unless you think he can win the Champions League. I don't know. I really don't know. But listen, it is what it is. This is a good game. This is a very, very good game. Napoli versus Sporting. Højlund, Manchester United fans, close your eyes, mate. Close your eyes. Højlund, 2 goals. One from a Kevin De Bruyne assist. Yeah, ridiculous, man. The way you see the goals that he scored in this game, they reminded me of, oh, this is why I thought Højlund was a decent player before he joined Manchester United. Like, I had forgotten. Like, I'd forgotten he could do this. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I haven't seen it at Manchester United, or I've seen it very sparingly at Manchester United. I forgot that he can actually, do you know what I'm saying? He can actually play like this. Do you know what I mean? Like, the finishes were really good. They were very composed. You can tell he's a striker who's got a bit more, you can tell he's just got a bit more confidence back into his game. Do you know what I mean? Like, again, you're playing with some really good players. You've got Scott McTominay in there, obviously fantastic player. Had a really good season last year. Obviously got an all-timer in Kevin De Bruyne, you know, within the team, but just even dotted around the place. When I look at Napoli, I'm like, you got some really good players in your team, to be honest with you. So to have those kind of players, to have a really good manager, to have, it's just working. It's just working. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And I feel like he's probably coming to a place where the energy is high, where the feel-good factor is there. Whereas at Manchester United, we know it's just not there, you know, kind of thing. So yeah, man, big up to Højlund, man. Big up to Højlund every single time. Højlund did well for us in Champions League. 2, he lacks confidence. We're just cursed. Yeah, hey, listen. Rashford doing well. Excuse me. Rashford doing well. Højlund doing well. Anthony doing well. Like, I'm saying, like, it seems to be a thing with Manchester United. It really does. Next game, Borussia Dortmund 4-1 victors against Athletic Bilbao. Bilbao look weak defensively. They do look weak defensively. And this is for a team that I thought was really good defensively last season. I'm watching them this season in La Liga. I've watched a couple of their games. And obviously in the Champions League, I've seen the highlights. And I'm just like, you guys just look weak. I don't know. Like, you don't look like the same Athletic Bilbao from last season, where I was like, yo, this team defensively, they're a problem. It seems like after that game against Manchester United, against Man United. Yeah, man, you've just gone downhill. You've really gone downhill. And I've not really... Yeah, I don't really understand. I really don't understand. I mean, you get slapped here, slapped there. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. But you see Borussia Dortmund, I don't know what it is about the Champions League, but they seem to just always do well. Like, they'll go on a decent run in the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Dortmund got to the semi-final of a Champions League. It really wouldn't. Because the Dortmund always do that. They just randomly will have these seasons. Then they get to the final that, like, not too long ago. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just Dortmund. Like, Dortmund are so weird like that. It's so weird. Bilbao, poor defense. Yeah, they are this season, but they weren't like that last season. They weren't like that last season. They looked solid last season from what I could see anyway. I probably saw like 5 games of them, maybe 10 actually, because I watched their Europa League games. But just them in general, I thought, nah, they look, I mean, they look good defensively. They look like what Arsenal are this season, which is, yeah, they look difficult to break down. Like, you need to be a Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG, whatever type of team to be able to break that kind of team down. And even then, you're going to struggle. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. They just completely seem off it. But listen, for Dortmund, fantastic, brilliant, very emphatic victory for Borussia Dortmund. And like I said, they just love the Champions League. They really love the Champions League. And I think when I'm looking at it on the face of it, I'm just like, yeah, they if anybody's can be a dark horse, it will be Borussia Dortmund. I don't think they'll win it, but anything can happen in the Champions League. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't want to write anything off because, yeah, crazier things are happening. Job settling. Yeah, he's settling in. I did hear of something, though, about Joe Bellingham. I think it was something along the lines about being dropped or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. I've not watched too many of Dortmund's games, to be fair, to really know what he's been on or if he's been good or not good. But I just know Dortmund in the Champions League can be a bit of a problem for any team, especially at their stadium. Whew, could be problematic. Club Brugge, man. Club Brugge obviously lost to Atalanta. Club Brugge are a team I always talk about them, especially in the Champions League in the last couple, like in this season or last season. They just look like one of those weird teams that, yeah, they'll probably cause you a bit of a problem. They will probably cause you a bit of a problem, and you won't realize it because they'll just bop you off the park. Do you get what I'm saying? But listen, for Atalanta, good to get the victory, 2-1. Obviously, late Pasalic goal in the 87th minute. Atalanta, what do I think of them? They're all right. They're all right. Don't know how far they'll go in a competition like this. I don't know what their fixtures look like, to be honest with you, so I couldn't really say. But yeah, I think they'll qualify for the next round. I just don't know if they will, how far they'll kind of go. Bruges will qualify to, yeah, I don't know anyone's fixtures, so I don't want to say it. And then they've got Real Madrid, Manchester City, PSG. You know what I mean? And then it's a bit tricky. But yeah, if they've got teams like an Atalanta, I feel like yeah, Club Brugge can definitely qualify. I think Atalanta can qualify as well. But we'll take a look at the table in a moment anyway. Villarreal 2-2 against Juventus. Renato Veiga. That was very interesting when I saw him score. Saw him celebrate like that. Then he played for Juventus and was there on loan or something like that. Good game though. Good game. I did have a draw in this game, to be fair. When I was doing like my predictions prior to the game, I thought, yeah, I think this game would be a draw or Juve would win. And at a point, I did think, okay, well, obviously it was a late goal from Veiga anyway. But I did think that Juve might be able to steal the victory in this kind of game. But unfortunately, obviously, they'll peg back right at the end. Gatti, he's a good player. He looks like a decent player, by the way. Looks like a decent player. I need to watch more of him. I really need to watch more of him. But yeah, overall in the game, I would have still said that Juventus for me kind of edged it for me from what I saw anyway. Again, I didn't watch the game in totality, but for me, it looked like Juventus were the better team overall. But you listen, you might disagree with that. Conceição and Yildiz were what's the best winger duo? Currently? It's up there: Rafinha, Yamal, Carrera, Doué, Diaz, Elise. You got Diaz, Elise. You got, as you say, Carrera, Doué, I guess, kinda ish, yeah. Carrera, Doué. It'll probably be Rafinha and Yamal, to be fair. Yeah, it will be probably Rafinha and Yamal. I think those two are probably the best winger duo in world football right about now. Juve just need to get, yeah, they do. They really, really do. I think Juve are, they've entered into this realm now where they're not the best team in Italy anymore. They're not one of the top teams in Europe anymore. You kind of just look at them as like, oh yeah, you should, like, Juve obviously historically are Juve, but when you watch them now in the last few seasons anyway, I look at Juve and I just think, yeah, if we were going away to Juve, I'm looking at trying to get a victory. Like, I don't feel like it should be a surprise if you get a victory against Juve away, as an example, because they're not that type of team. Whereas before, you'd be like, oh, okay, you beat Juventus. All right, fair enough. Well, Juventus with Tevez, Patrice Evra, Chiellini, Bonucci, you know what I'm saying? Pirlo, Vidal, and all these. Yeah, that Pirlo's a bit, Juventus was a bit different. This one, yeah, I feel like they've got exciting players. You mentioned Yildiz, Conceição, you know what I mean? David as well. Like, they got some exciting players at this moment in time, but still quite young, and they still look like they still need a bit of time to be able to develop. 1-1, Leverkusen and PSV. I think Leverkusen will be disappointed because it was at home, needed the 3 points, but PSV fought them. Do you know what I'm saying? It was one of those kind of games where it seemed quite tense from what I gathered from the game. It seemed very, very tense. Obviously, the two goals in the game coming in, relatively close within each other. But I just felt like it was one of those games where I was like, atmosphere feels intense. The game feels intense. It could go either way. I did, to be fair, before my prediction was either draw or Bayern Leverkusen to get the victory. I didn't really see PSV. I just felt like PSV have just not really been that good as of recently. But listen, to get the 1-1 away to Bayern Leverkusen, one of the better teams across Europe, it's a good result. It's a good result, man. It's a good result. And like I said, just to get the points from, as long as you can get early points, do you know what I mean, in these first couple of games, it stands you in good stead, do you know what I mean, for later. And last one up, 2-0. 2-0 against Copenhagen. I told people about Qarabag, right? I said to you, watch out for Qarabag. Watch out for Qarabag. Just watch out for them. And when I say watch out, again, I don't know. I will state this here. I ain't got no reason to lie. I don't know anything about Qarabag. I don't know their style of play. I don't know their players. I think maybe one or two, but I don't know anything about them to know if they're one of those teams that can upset the apple cart, or this is just things are going in their favor. We saw their first game against Benfica. They came back to win that game. They won this game against Copenhagen 2-0. And to be honest, this was like, I don't like saying 2-0 is not a calm score, but it's calm. You're like, okay, yeah, cool. I didn't really feel like Copenhagen were giving them too much trouble. I didn't look at it like that. But the fact that they were 1-0 for so long, anything can happen. When you're 1-0 for that amount, you score in the 28th minute, you don't score again until the 83rd. Obviously, it's going to come across like that. But I just felt like, Qarabag, and I'm going to start watching a bit more of them. I just want to see what they're about. I need to see, like, I need them to face one of the big teams. In fact, let me check actually if they've got any like tough fixtures kind of coming up soon. Qarabag. I just want to see their fixtures, to be honest. So they've got Athletic Club, Chelsea at home, Napoli, Ajax, Frankfurt, Liverpool. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just need to see them face. Like, you know what? Like, if they were to beat Athletic Bilbao, if they were to beat Athletic Bilbao because they got that game away, right? If they do that, if they beat them, I'll do a video on Qarabag. I'll do a video on Qarabag because then I'm just looking at you thinking, there's something different about you guys. There's something different. But I'm just waiting. At the moment, I'm still just whatever. If they beat Athletic Bilbao, I think I'll do a video because I'll be very impressed. And like I said, I don't know anything about them, nothing about them. So listen, it is what it is. But yes, we are at the end. Here is the table. Let's make this a bit bigger. Here is the table for you guys. So obviously Bayern absolutely flying in this tournament. Top of the table, Real Madrid, PSG, Inter Milan, Arsenal, and Qarabag. All got maximum points so far from the opening 2 games. Then you've obviously got Dortmund, Manchester City, and Tottenham, who are all on 4 points. And then Athletic, Newcastle, Marseille, Club Brugge, Sporting, Frankfurt, Barca, Liverpool, Chelsea, Napoli, Union SG, Galatasaray, Atalanta. They're all on 3 points. Just below that, you've got Juve, Bodo, Leverkusen on 2. And then on 1, Villarreal, PSV, Copenhagen, Olympiacos, Monaco, Slavia Prague, and Pafos. And then teams with no points at this stage is Benfica, Athletic Bilbao, Ajax, and Kairat. So, yeah, you can kind of see what the fuck at LFC. Show this table so annoying. Yeah, the problem with Hakeem is mad. It's mad. LFC are 17th. 17th. So that at this moment in time, we're going into the playoffs. But do you know what I mean? Liverpool still got, we got too many fixtures where, well, I say that. Obviously, I don't know how Liverpool are going to technically be, but we've got a few fixtures, right? So Liverpool's next fixture in the Champions League is Frankfurt away. Frankfurt away. They remember Frankfurt just lost 5-1 against Athletico Madrid. Then we've got Madrid at home. Then we've got PSV at home. Inter Milan away. Liverpool ain't winning that game. Marseille away, and then Qarabag out. Yo, all of a sudden now, you look at Liverpool's fixtures, you're starting to sit there and think, yeah, these games are a bit more difficult than I thought. Do you know what I mean? In the form that Liverpool are in right now. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's only 2 games, but who knows? By that point, you might be. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. After each game week, I kind of just look at it and just think, because it's obviously so early. Maybe when we get to game week 4/5, I feel like once the table starts to shape up a little bit, because with all of these teams, even the team on 0 points right now could easily shoot up the table. Do you get what I'm saying? Like if Kairat were to win, they go on 3 points. All of a sudden, you start moving ahead of everybody else. Do you get what I'm saying? Like if Kairat win their next game, but Juventus lose their next game, they might go above. They would go above them. All of a sudden, you're like, oh snap! Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, obviously it's only 2 games into the tournament. I've said already. I think if I'm talking about favorites, I mean, I still look at PSG, Barcelona. I still look at those 2. Real Madrid, maybe. Liverpool, obviously, as well, thrown in there. Bayern as well. If Bayern can just get a good draw, like Bayern always seem to get like difficult knockout fixtures, whereas other teams maybe get a bit easier ones. If Bayern can have a good knockout phase, do you know what I mean, of the tournament, I feel like Bayern, it's going to be difficult to stop this attack, you know. Harry Kane seems like a man on a mission. It wouldn't surprise me if they go all the way. It really, really wouldn't. Who else is there? Man City, obviously a Man City. Whether they can just kind of pattern up in time is really the thing. But if I'm looking at like dark horses at the moment, just from what I've seen in the Champions League and also in domestic, probably Marseille, Dortmund. I just feel like they will just go far. They're just weird like that. Tottenham, maybe 2-legged affair. Could we see that? Maybe. Arsenal, not really a dark horse, because again, I look at Arsenal as one of the favorites for it. PSG, Barca, Liverpool in that order. Then Madrid, Bayern, Arsenal. I would replace Liverpool with Madrid and maybe even Bayern. I feel like, I'll be honest, actually, I feel like Arsenal got a better chance than. I feel like Arsenal, yeah, I'm more looking at Arsenal, man. I feel like the way that they play and the things that they do, I feel like they got a better chance than anybody else. Do you get what I'm saying? Big up, Michael, man. Good morning to you, bro. Barca need to defend better. Some of the defending yesterday was shambolic. Yeah. You know, but we know how Barca. That's just how Barca are, isn't it? That's just how Barcelona are. It's just in our makeup. It's just in our makeup in terms of the way that we defend. Do you get what I'm saying? It's one of those, like, I'll be honest, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. That just seems like the risk he's trying to play it with. Athletico are a dark horse. Yeah, but they're one of the better teams around you. You know, you can call them that, but you know, like they're in like a weird space. Like they are better than a dark horse type of team because they're one of the better teams. But at the same time, are they a favorite? I don't really look at them like that. So yeah, you could maybe say that. Maybe say that. PSG Dagger was legendary. I hear it, man. I hear it. But yeah, now Barca do need to fix up. Like I said, I was disappointed with the defeat. Especially because PSG didn't even have the top hitters out and they looked like they were kind of comfortable in that second half. You know, and Barcelona didn't really look like that. Like I said, Yamal, as brilliant as he is, after like the first 15 minutes, he didn't really do anything. I felt like they missed it, like a Rafinha type player, Lewandowski. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, it's weird because obviously Rashford is still calm and he's a very good replacement. I just feel like they missed Rafinha though. I'd look at Rafinha. He's the one that for me links the Barcelona attack. He is the reason why Lamine Yamal and Lewandowski can do what they do, and he can still, by the way, do what he does. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those. But listen, it's going to be interesting over the next couple of weeks. It really, really is. I'm intrigued, like I say, to see what the table kind of looks like when we get to game week 4, game week 5, because then you only got a few games. You've only got a few games then to try and cement a place, whether it's in the last 16, whether it's in the playoff rounds before you kind of get eliminated. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Our team's going to go stronger towards the end of the group phase, because right now teams are going quite weak in terms of their lineups. Obviously, it's the early part of the season and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just intrigued to see how this kind of goes. Really, really am. Uh, you have to find a balance. PSG showcased last season a capability to defend as well. This Barca team still hasn't demonstrated that. I don't know though, Mike. I disagree because do I think obviously they are vulnerable at times? Yes, 100%. I think Barcelona can be very vulnerable. But I mean, we won a treble last season. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's not like we conceded. Like, let me even check. Let me not even talk out my ass. Let me not talk out my ass because I could be saying something that didn't really happen. La Liga. So last season we conceded 39 goals in La Liga, right? Madrid conceded 38. Atletico Madrid conceded 30. Athletic Bilbao conceded 29. And then after that. So 39, that's not too bad considering we scored 102 goals. I feel like that's too bad. In the group phase of last year, they're not showing me last year's champion. We saw that last season that the tactics defensively cost them. I don't feel like it was even the tactics though. I don't feel because I don't feel. Hold on, do you think 39 is a lot? Let me see something actually, real quick. I mean, Madrid conceded 38. Let me see. Is that a lot? Is that a lot? Is that a lot? Let me see something. Liverpool conceded 41 last season. I had to just double check because I was trying to see like, is 39 really a lot? Liverpool conceded 41. Arsenal conceded 34 last season. I don't feel that 39 is a lot. Like when I say when I say it's a lot, obviously in comparison to other seasons and stuff, 100%. Yes, because you would prefer to be conceding a lot less than that. Obviously, they offset that because they score so many goals. So you do look at it from that kind of angle. But yeah, listen, look, am I happy with like? Listen, I would prefer if Hansi Flick decided to just drop the line a little bit. I'll be honest. Like I would prefer. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they scored over 100, but they conceded 39. So I do get it. Like I said, I'm not super happy with seeing the line so high. I get why it's done and I understand it, but I don't like it because you can just get caught over the top too many times. Hence why Konate would be perfect for them. They need that type of defender. Just quick, fast, strong. As long as they've got that, and this is why at times they'll get caught out when they don't have their strongest back line out. Because when you ain't got Balde, remember Balde is rapid, probably the faster than Kunde. Yeah, yeah, maybe just. Do you get what I'm saying? Araujo. Yeah, do you get what I'm saying? It's like you're gonna need these players, and if they're not playing or they're not performing, yeah, and even they get caught out. I've seen Araujo get caught out enough times. I'm still not even too sure about him like that. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, obviously you're coming up against PSG. PSG are a fantastic team, one of the best teams in Europe, one of the best coach teams in Europe. So yeah, do I think they should have been doing better? 100%, 100%. They're not going to get away with that. Like I said, I called them clowns yesterday because I said for you to lose it so late, considering you was at home, you really should have put the game not to bed, but you should have had a more comfortable lead. Yeah, I wasn't too best pleased. And I said this, Michael, at the beginning of the season, I said Martinez is going to be a loss for them at centre back. Everyone was like, nah, but Araujo, he's coming back. Yeah, okay, I hear that. But Araujo is like, he ain't the guy for me that I'm looking at like, I want to see starting necessarily. I personally keep saying Barca need to sign a new centre back. Or if you're not going to sign a new centre back, you know who they should have signed? They should have signed Frimpong. That's who they should be having at right back because then you can move Kunde into centre back. But Kunde is doing a really good job as a right back. He is doing a really, really good job. One of the better right backs around Europe. So maybe they don't want to move him from that position. But they not having Martinez there, who's the leader, who's the boss back there, it's causing them issues in that kind of sense. Just in terms of communication. Not saying he was fast because he used to get caught out as well, but he had better communication. Araujo, I don't really look like that. I really don't rate Araujo like that. Really don't. I feel like he's one of them kind of players where I'm just like, he's all right. You could easily upgrade upon someone like him. Kubasi is Kubasi, one of the best young centre backs in world football. Do you get what I'm saying? So he's calm. Left back is obviously calm. I like Gerard Martin. I feel like he's a good little left back, good little understudy to have. They got Eric Garcia there as well. Again, do you get what I'm saying? I do actually look at them more so in midfield because you've got Pedri and De Jong. I feel like obviously it's difficult because it's like you got all like top players, right? Really, really top players. But when you need to rotate it out for whatever reason, Cascardo, yeah, they're calm players. Like, it's difficult because Gavi's obviously injured. He might be. I get it, but sometimes I'm like, I don't know, like the quality, the gap between Pedri and whoever the next player you want to put in there is it's probably too big. So at times it could be when when they're trying to change things in the game, it's almost like you can't. You have to almost just keep Pedri and De Jong on just because. Do you get what I'm saying? What do you think of Højlund's resurgence? Just highlights once again that Man United is a cesspool for. I was literally at when I was speaking about the Napoli game against Thing. I saw the 2 goals that he scored. Obviously, one of them with the assist from Kevin KDB. Like I said, it's the feel good. It's going to a team that is got its shit in order. Let's just be honest. You're going to a team that just has its shit in order. Forget that they won the league. They're just a club that has their shit in order. There's none of this nonsense. Like, honestly, I'm saving my time to talk about Manchester United because I was going to do a video and to talk about them, but it's just, I feel like I would get vexed speaking about them, and it's not even my own team because your club is embarrassing, and it's annoying me that you're this embarrassing. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you have all. I said this before. I think Højlund was a calm player. When he was at Atalanta, I said maybe going to United for that amount wasn't the right move, but I always thought he was a calm player. I know people didn't really rate him, and I get it. You saw what you saw at Manchester United. I fully understand that if you hadn't watched him before and you watched him at United, he was shit. Let's just call a spade a spade. He was not good, but he was good prior to it. So it's just a Man United thing at this moment in time. I don't look at it as a player thing because Anthony gone away. Rashford all of a sudden looks like, do you know what I'm saying? Like one of the best wingers in the world. Like, how does that happen? You move away from the rubbish that is Manchester United. That's what it is. And obviously, as you say, having a world-class manager. But do you know what I mean? It's like, even take away having the manager, they're just a club that have their shit in order. Do you get what I'm saying? They like Man United do not have their shit in order. Hence why Rashford can go to Aston Villa and look better. I'm not saying he looked great, he just looked better and he looked more comfortable until he obviously got the injury and all of that kind of stuff. But it just looked better for him. New lease of life. Anthony goes to Real Betis. Real Betis are not a bigger club than Manchester United. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not even close. They're nowhere close to Manchester United. But he goes there and all of a sudden he looks like he's an amazing player. Do you get like it's too many players? It's like that. Too many players. Manchester United are just ruining. They're just ruining, man. And it's sad to see. It's sad to see, I guess. But listen, it is what it is. Yeah, we're done for today. That is the match week 2 roundup. I will be back tomorrow. We've got to do the Liverpool monthly review. That is going to be very interesting. So stay tuned. Obviously, yeah, should do it around about 9:45/10 a.m. I think I will get that one loaded up. I'll get my coffee out. Nah, no, that's a lie. I don't drink coffee. I like tea. Coffee drinkers, your breath smells. You think Inter with Chivu will have a similar bounce back like Bayern with company about transforming the way they play? I said this before about the Inter thing. I don't think Chivu is that good. Like, he's not going to do anything more than I think what Inzaghi was doing. I really don't see it at all. You probably watch a lot more of Inter than I do, but I'm not seeing anything from Inter Milan in the couple of games I've seen in Serie A that I've been able to catch, and the Champions League game. They're not doing anything to me that makes me think, yeah, this makes sense. Inzaghi for Chivu. I don't see it at all. They look exactly the same. Playing, for me, almost very similar. Differences, of course, but it's quite similar. It's not changed. It's not like they got Roberto De Zerbi in, where your football's completely done a 180 in comparison to what you were doing before. But they're kind of doing the same things. So in my mind, I'm like, this is what I was saying, Mike, and maybe you might be able to tell me because I don't know. But what was the reason for the whole Inzaghi? I know he went to obviously to Saudi, but was that it because of the Saudi stuff? Like, that's why he. I just don't get it. Like, for me, they, in my opinion, you better just keep him. Like, you got to the Champions League final with him twice. I know he didn't win it, but do you think what Chivu can win the Champions League? Like, you think Chivu can get over the line? If he does, it will be one of the biggest surprises I've seen, in my opinion. Very, very big. Yeah, very annoying. We've got another international break soon. But as I said, people, during the international break, I will have my top 10s back again. It was 6 months. I think it's now been 6 months since I did my last top 10s. So I said, you know what, every 6 months we'll see if it changes, if it updates and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to be doing my top 10 for goalkeepers. So I'll be dropping them. For non-members, it'll be dropping one a day. For members, I'll drop them all, so you guys can obviously just watch it all in one time. But yeah, it'll be goalkeepers, fullbacks, centre-backs, midfielders, so centre, DM, and attacking midfielders. They're all going to be placed into one category. Wingers and then strikers. So we've got 6 categories there that we'll kind of go through, and then I'll give you my top 10 players of the world. So all the players mixed in together. Who do I think is the best player in the world? And yeah, we'll go through a top 10 that way. So again, after each video, guys, please let me know your thoughts. I would love to know how people kind of see it now and stuff like that. I feel like that's going to be quite interesting, especially during the international break as well. Yeah, I think, yeah, that'll be interesting to see how people see it. And maybe I might do like my own World 11. I might do that at the end of the last one. I might do that at the end of the one where I do like my top 10 players of the world. Yeah, I think I'll then do a World 11. And we can debate it, man. We can debate it. We can debate it. It was just Saudi money, really, and Inzaghi wanting a new challenge. Yeah, but come on, Mikes, man. Inter Milan. I've seen a thing with AC recently about the stadium stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? Is it like, oh, question for you, Mike? Yeah, you'll know this, or I'll assume. I'm just assuming. Do you think Inter Milan or AC, are they ever going to have their own stadium, like separate stadium, like ever? Or do you think like, nah, it's just like they'll just keep it like this? I just want to know, because I always used to think about this old school. Always used to think. I used to think, obviously, I never understood why they had the same thing. Then I did research. Okay, cool. But now I'm looking and thinking, don't you ever just want to have like your own like stadium? Like, yeah, just your own stadium. Like, I don't know. But listen, if it's not broke, don't go out. Like, you know what I mean? If it's not broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? So maybe they might just keep it that way. Maybe they might just keep it. But big up to everybody in the chat. Big up to Mike's. Big up to Sammy. Big up to Hakeem in the building. Mustafa. Big up to yourself. Who was in the building? Yeah, big up to all of you, man. Big up to all of you. Big up to anybody obviously watching this on the replay. Big up to everyone. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm trying to go 5 for 5. Like, this is the first time in a long time I've done 4 lives in a week. So, yo, everyone who was moaning at me for not doing the lives, I am now going back to trying to do as many lives as I possibly can. So make sure, yeah, you guys just make sure you smash that like button for me. Now they will forever play in the same stadium, which, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Imagine, but this is what I'm saying. Imagine Tottenham and Arsenal in the same stadium. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. But you know, this has been going on for so long that I can't really look at it any other way. Do you know what I mean? I can't really look at it any other way other than this is just normal. Like, this is just what it is, you know, kind of thing. So listen, it is what it is. But yeah, big up to everybody, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. I might have another video dropping later on today on this channel. I might also do a live video on my other channel, my top 10 Pokemon. Yes, I am silly like that. But yes, I might do that. So I'll see if Savage is free later on. And yeah, we might just load that stream up and just have some fun, man. Talk about some Pokemon cards and some of the best Pokemon we've ever seen. But yeah, we were going through our list of top 10 Pokemon out there. So make sure you guys stay locked in, stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys very, very soon.